They told you health was about willpower, about counting calories, about discipline. But what if the real problem was never how much you eat, but whether your body is even hearing the message food is supposed to send? Right now, inside your body, there's a communication breakdown happening at a cellular level. Your cells are drowning in noise, constant sugar signals, constant insulin spikes, constant inflammation. And when a signal is repeated too often, biology does what it always does. It stops listening. This is called insulin resistance, and it's the silent starting point of obesity, diabetes, heart disease, dementia, and even cancer. Not because you ate too much, but because your cells stopped responding to the wrong messages. Here's the part no one tells you. Your body doesn't count calories. It listens to signals. Hormones are the language. Insulin is the loudest voice in the room. And when insulin stays high for too long, fat burning shuts down completely. Studies show that elevated insulin locks fat inside fat cells, even when calories are restricted. That's why people can starve, diet, and still not lose weight. Their body is trapped in storage mode. But there is one food signal that cuts through the chaos, one that doesn't spike insulin, one that speaks directly to your mitochondria, the tiny energy factories inside every cell. When mitochondria receive the right signal, they shift from survival mode to repair mode. In animal and human studies, improving mitochondrial function has been shown to increase energy, reverse insulin resistance, lower inflammation, and even slow biological aging. This is not motivation. This is biochemistry. Chronic disease doesn't begin with symptoms. It begins when mitochondria become inefficient. When they're forced to burn sugar nonstop, they produce more oxidative stress, more cellular damage, and more inflammation. This is why chronically high blood sugar ages the brain faster, damages blood vessels, and weakens the immune system. The World Health Organization now links metabolic dysfunction to over 70% of modern diseases. Not genetics, not aging, metabolism. And here's the shocking truth. The food environment we live in trains the body to ignore real nourishment. Ultra-processed foods deliver constant glucose hits with almost no micronutrients. That means the body is flooded with fuel but starving for instructions. Over time, cells lose metabolic flexibility, the ability to switch between sugar burning and fat burning. Research shows that restoring fat metabolism improves insulin sensitivity within weeks, even without weight loss. That's where this one food comes in. It sends a low insulin, high information signal. Instead of shouting, store energy, it whispers, use energy wisely. It activates pathways like AMPK and PPAR alpha, which tell the body to burn fat, repair cells, and reduce inflammation. These pathways are the same ones activated by fasting and exercise, but this food allows you to trigger them without extreme deprivation. Neurologists have found that brains running on ketones, produced when fat is burned, generate more energy with less oxidative stress than glucose-fed brains. This is why ketogenic therapies are used in epilepsy, Alzheimer's research, and traumatic brain injury recovery. The brain doesn't fail from lack of calories, it fails from lack of clean fuel. And it doesn't stop at the brain. When insulin levels drop, the kidneys release excess sodium, reducing blood pressure naturally. In clinical trials, patients with metabolic syndrome saw triglycerides drop and HDL cholesterol rise when insulin signaling improved, often without medication. Inflammation markers like CRP fall, waistlines shrink, hunger hormones rebalance, all from changing the signal, not the portion size. This is why willpower always loses. You cannot out-discipline broken biology. But when the signal changes, behavior follows effortlessly. Cravings fade because blood sugar stabilizes. Energy rises because mitochondria finally have permission to work efficiently. Fat loss happens because the body is no longer afraid of letting go. Anthropological data shows humans evolved primarily on foods that delivered strong nutrient signals with minimal insulin response. Our ancestors didn't snack. They didn't graze. They ate foods that told the body when to store and when to burn. Modern food removed that rhythm. This one food restores it. And the most important part? Consistency beats perfection. Research shows that repeated exposure to the right metabolic signal retrains insulin sensitivity over time. The body learns again. Cells remember. healing compounds. This is why people who focus on food quality rather than quantity often see results others never do. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet overnight. You don't need to track every gram. You need one reliable signal you can return to daily, a metabolic anchor, something that tells your body you're safe, you can burn, you can heal. Because when the right message reaches your cells, weight loss becomes a side effect, energy becomes normal, and health stops feeling like a constant fight. This was never about eating less. It was about eating something that finally speaks your body's language. Most people believe healing is something you have to force. More discipline, more supplements, more restriction, but the human body was never designed to be bullied into health. It was designed to heal automatically when the environment is right. And food is the most powerful environmental signal you expose your body to every single day. Chronic disease doesn't appear overnight. It builds silently, cell by cell, year by year, as the body adapts to constant stress signals. Elevated insulin, chronic inflammation, nutrient depletion, mitochondrial fatigue. By the time symptoms show up, the damage has been accumulating for decades. Studies reveal that insulin resistance can exist for up to 20 years before a diagnosis of diabetes is ever made. The body was warning you long before you felt it. Here's the shocking truth. The body is always trying to heal. Even in people with obesity, heart disease, or neurodegeneration, repair mechanisms are running in the background. Autophagy, cellular cleanup, DNA repair, immune surveillance, these systems don't shut off. They get blocked, and the biggest blocker is constantly elevated insulin. When insulin stays high, fat burning is turned off, autophagy is suppressed, and inflammation becomes the default state. Nobel Prize-winning research on autophagy shows that cells need periods of low insulin to recycle damaged components and regenerate. Without that pause, cellular debris builds up like trash in the streets, disrupting communication and function. This is where daily consistency with the right food becomes transformative. One food eaten regularly can lower insulin exposure, stabilize blood sugar, and remove the brakes from the body's healing systems. In clinical studies, even modest reductions in insulin lead to rapid improvements in metabolic markers, sometimes within days. Blood glucose stabilizes, triglycerides drop, liver fat decreases. These changes often happen before the scale ever moves. The liver is one of the first organs to respond. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease now affects over 25% of adults worldwide and is tightly linked to insulin resistance. Research shows that reducing insulin signaling allows the liver to release stored fat and restore normal function. This matters because a healthy liver regulates cholesterol, hormones, and detoxification. When the liver heals, the entire body feels it. Hormones follow the same pattern. Insulin resistance disrupts leptin, the hormone that tells you you're full, and ghrelin, the hormone that drives hunger. This is why chronically ill people often feel hungry even when they eat enough calories. When insulin sensitivity improves, hormonal signals normalize, hunger becomes accurate again, cravings stop screaming, eating feels calm instead of compulsive. The cardiovascular system responds too. Contrary to decades of fear-based nutrition advice, studies consistently show that improving insulin sensitivity lowers small, dense LDL particles, the most dangerous kind, while increasing protective HDL cholesterol. Blood pressure improves as insulin-driven water retention decreases. The heart doesn't need low-fat food. It needs stable metabolic signals. The brain may benefit the most. Neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's are now being called type 3 diabetes because of their strong association with insulin resistance in the brain. PET scan studies reveal that glucose uptake in the brain declines years before cognitive symptoms appear. But when the brain is supplied with ketones produced during fat metabolism, energy production improves, inflammation decreases, and cognitive function stabilizes in early-stage patients. And then there's inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation is the common thread linking arthritis, autoimmune disease, depression, and cancer. Elevated insulin amplifies inflammatory pathways like NF-κB, while insulin reduction suppresses them. Clinical trials show CRP, IL-6, and TNF-alpha decrease when metabolic health improves. The immune system shifts from overreaction to precision. What's most powerful is that these changes don't require perfection. The body responds to patterns, not single meals. Repeated daily exposure to the right food signal retrains gene expression through epigenetic mechanisms. Genes associated with fat storage, inflammation, and insulin resistance can be turned down, while genes linked to repair and longevity turn up. This is not theory. This has been measured. Long-term studies of populations consuming metabolically supportive foods show lower rates of obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease, even without calorie restriction. The difference wasn't discipline, it was alignment. Their food matched their biology, and the longer this signal is repeated, the deeper the healing goes. Visceral fat, linked to cancer and heart disease, shrinks. Muscle becomes more insulin sensitive. Bone density improves. Even skin health reflects internal repair as collagen turnover normalizes and oxidative damage decreases. This is why people often report unexpected benefits: better sleep, reduced anxiety, clearer thinking, fewer aches. These are signs that the nervous system is exiting survival mode. Cortisol drops. Parasympathetic healing pathways activate. The body finally believes it's safe enough to repair. You don't heal by doing more. You heal by removing the interference. One food, eaten consistently, can change the metabolic conversation inside your body, not by force, but by permission.